Welcome to Faint Footsteps World War II, Part 9. This episode is entitled Baptism of Fire on the Ennerdale. In May 1942, my father received a baptism of water. He was ordered to jump off a landing craft filled with British soldiers after it got stuck on a sandbar. He jumped out, found deeper water, and successfully helped get the landing craft underway again. But, surprisingly, he was left behind in the waters between Irvine and Troon as the craft hurried off to take part in a landing exercise under King George's watchful eye. About a month after that incident, my father and a few score other Canadian sailors received their first baptism of fire. While en route to their first official action, Operation Rudder, a raid on Dieppe set for July 7, 1942, they were attacked by German bombers. Rudder may be a relatively unknown operation today, and at the time, the name of it was not even known to more than a few Canadian officers. Lieutenant Jake Coyle later wrote, "The first operational call we received was in early June 1942 when we sailed away from our base to take part in some operation." Operation Rudder was eventually cancelled and overshadowed by Operation Jubilee, the actual Dieppe Raid. But some events related to Rudder were remembered well, especially the bombings. The Canadians and their landing barges left Scotland aboard the oil tanker Ennerdale in early June and sailed past Ireland, Wales, and Land's End on their way to the Isle of Wight. One of the ship's crew warned my father of what might come. "We got a bloody basin full last time," he said. But Dad recalls that early on, all was serene. On June 22nd, after a bit of reminiscing on deck and feeling a little homesick, and after two Spitfires waggled their wings before heading home, my father and mates hit the sack. They were barely settled in when chaos erupted in a mad rush. 8 German Junker 88s came from the east, took position in the sun, and attacked us from the stern, says my father. The Ennerdale's klaxon horn quickly blared out action stations. Everybody tried to dress and hit the deck, Dad says. Being the largest ship, we knew we were in for it. I got my socks on, put my sweater on backwards, and got suspenders on my pants caught on the oil valves. I was hurrying like hell and nearly strangled myself, scared to death. The bombs came, and close. They really bounced us around, Dad said. Extra gunners were needed, and Lloyd Campbell of London, Ontario, was heard to say, "Let me at 'em." The gun crew on the Ennerdale's forecastle was knocked clear off the gun by the concussion. The men fell hard, but were only bruised. The attack was short and sweet, but it seemed an eternity, says Doug. A near miss had buckled our plates, and we lost all our drinking water. Dad ventured out on deck when skies were clear and picked up bomb shrapnel, as big as your fist, for a souvenir. The sturdy Ennerdale, its plates buckled and decks covered with mud from the sea bottom, arrived at Isle of Wight the next day, with everyone happy to be alive, and still shaking. Though Lieutenant Coyle later reported that Operation Rudder was cancelled and all were ordered to return to base, sailors saw some of the action related to Rudder before leaving England's southern coast. Lloyd Evans, from Ottawa, recalled a confusing scene and wrote, "A large flotilla of landing craft loaded with soldiers and commandos set sail one evening, and we remained in port. The mystery deepened," he says. "They returned a few hours later. They found out the Germans were waiting for them." My father reports seeing terrific activity, perhaps on that same evening. He says motor launches by the dozen went to see what was going on. And what was going on? He says it turned out to be the aborted attempt on Dieppe. He adds, "In my opinion, the next one should have been aborted too." Information about the 1,000 Canadians who volunteered for combined operations can be found at wavynavy.blogspot.com, and I do respond to emails within the week. Have a good day.